So I figured I'd share my thoughts on the most recent influencer to, or I should say, vegan influencer to quit being vegan, quote unquote. So apparently, Sophia Esperanza has gone back to eating honey, dairy, and other things. Not specifically flesh from animals, but I wouldn't put it past me regardless. When you're not vegan, the concern of animal welfare and well-being is not your concern. So regardless of what she says, I wouldn't put it past me that she's eating the flesh of animals. But regardless of that, the most irritating thing is that it's mostly animal rights activists giving these influencers a big voice once they stop being vegan. And I mean this because I wouldn't even have known that she stopped being vegan if it wasn't for an activist posting it on their story and complaining about the fact that she's not vegan. I say it's not a big deal because it's not a big deal when it comes to the fact that she's swaying others away from veganism and animal rights, because that's basically not possible. If you're someone who can't think for yourself, then you aren't going to go vegan regardless. And the most important point is the fact that who is Sophia Esperanza besides someone who just has a lot of followers online? If you were to take away her following, who would she really be? She would just be some skinny girl who just cut her hair. It'd be a totally different thing if she was an athlete of some sort, or she has accomplished something. But what has she accomplished? What is she bringing to the table? And also the fact that she's not an activist. It's not like she was speaking out for the animals like someone like Gary Yourofsky or something. It's not like we just lost a voice for the animals or anything of that sort. So it's just weird how I see all these activists who are getting riled up and sharing her story, making her more famous for quitting veganism, even though you can't quit veganism. It's something that's permanent. Once you stop being vegan, then you were never vegan. It's permanent. It's like, once you get out of jail, once you get out of prison for murder, you're still a murderer until the day that you die, even if you turn your life around. So that's basically the same logic that explains why veganism is permanent. So with that being said, yes, she was never really vegan. Whatever, who is she? I just explained who she is. She's some skinny girl who cut her hair and has a anti-speciesism tattoo and has a lot of followers. But other than that, what does she bring to the table? She's a little attractive, but anyone can be attractive. That's just preference. But it's just sad to see all these people sticking their heads into this and putting so much effort into kind of speaking about it when it's like, okay, oh well. More open-minded people are making this switch to becoming vegan because they can think for themselves and because they are genuinely good people who just know it's the right thing to do. So why are people, animal rights activists specifically, sharing this and putting so much effort into going onto her page, boosting her algorithm and talking about, her being this and her being that? It's like, you could have just ignored this. You could have just not brought it to my attention, because that's what you do every time these influencers quit veganism and you make these posts about it and you're posting it on your story and things of that sort. So I know that sounds hypocritical because it's exactly what I'm doing right now, but I'm just explaining that, like, why is this a big deal? This is someone who, if you were to take all her followers away, I mean, who is she? She's just, like I said before, some skinny girl. Now, you might say, who are you? Well, I've been an activist ever since I've gone vegan 7 years ago. And it's like, wow, I was 13 when I first went vegan. I'm 20 now. So it's just crazy how time passes. But through the years, I've gone through a phase of, bodybuilding, lifting. Even though I've never competed, I just did it as a little hobby. And I built a pretty good physique, I'd say, even at the age of 16. So currently, I am boxing, and I'd say I'm pretty good at it. You be the judge of that. I've posted it on my page. So, I think that I bring a little bit of something to the table, and I do plan on becoming pro in boxing in due time. So, at the moment, I'm working really hard. Even though I don't post it, I am working extremely hard towards my goals. And unlike Sophia Esperanza, who's just some skinny girl on the internet, I actually bring something to the table. So if I can do all the things that I'm doing currently, working, boxing, I do more than the average fucking person, or way more than my coworkers do. And I maintain myself, a good physique, health, and all while being vegan since the age of 13. So, any excuse that anyone has, for me, it's just a load of bullshit, narcissism, and selfishness, which is not surprising and nothing new coming from the human species. But regardless, tell me what you think about my take. Am I not speaking the truth here? I'm just so confused on the fact that everyone thinks it's a big deal that this girl is just this one fucking person stop being vegan, is eating some honey, is eating some dairy, like, oh well, it happens. She's a terrible person, obviously. She's a terrible fucking person, but this world is full of terrible fucking people, fake people who put on fronts on the internet. And why are you surprised? Why are you surprised that someone who claims to be anti-speciesist and gets a tattoo on their arm but never has attended any vegan events or posts anything about animal rights goes back to eating dairy and honey or whatever the hell she's doing? So, and again, I wouldn't even put it past me if she's eating animal flesh, but let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on my take, and hopefully in the future, I hope this video can convince some activists and vegans not to give a lot of attention to these fake influencers who quote unquote quit, veganism. Again, you can't quit something that's permanent. It just doesn't add up. The majority of these people out here who make these claims like, oh, I quit veganism, they don't even know the definition of veganism. And that's the saddest part. It's not a diet about you. It has nothing to do with humans. It's purely about ending the unnecessary killing of animals and expanding the basic right to live to animals. If you can't understand that, then it's just because you're too overly obsessed with yourself as a human, or you just have severe brain damage.